I'm so glad you're here. My name is Vidya. I'm a mom to a 19-year-old son on the autism spectrum. I receive lots of questions from fellow autism parents on my Instagram page. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer some of those questions here because chances are, if those parents had the questions, maybe you have the same questions too. Again, if you're watching live, do drop your questions in the comments. And if you're watching the replay as well, drop your questions in the comments and I will answer it in a future live. So thank you again for being here. Let's begin. So the first question, how much time we actually need to take out with our child for activities if we are working women? So children with autism, they need lots of consistency in order to learn. So, if you can daily dedicate between 5 to 15 minutes a day to work with your child on their activities, then you will definitely see lots of progress because this consistency is the one which will help your child to make the most progress. You cannot leave everything to their teachers or their therapist. You as a parent need to be actively involved in your child's learning. So even spending 5 to 15 minutes a day daily with consistency, you will definitely see progress with your child instead of just working with them 1 hour maybe a week. That's not going to help them to make the most progress. So, question number 2, special school is very important for our kids. How does that help? So, children with autism, they need an individualized approach to their learning. They may struggle to learn in a classroom full of, say, 20 to 25 kids. It is very hard for them. That can be very, very overwhelming for your child in order to learn. So, what can happen is they can go to a public school, but then they can go to a special classroom where the student to teacher ratio is good. There might be anywhere between 5 to 10 students in the classroom, along with the teacher, and maybe 2 or 3 paras. And that will definitely help your child to learn and to make progress. So I hope that helps. Question number 3. My child is 4 years old, still non-verbal, can say a few words. Does he need AAC? So it is very important to start AAC with your child as soon as possible, as there are no prerequisite skills in order to start AAC. So AAC starts for augmentative and alternative communication. It is for those children or even adults who are unable to communicate verbally, or sometimes even if they are able to say a few words, it is not understood by others around them and they might not be able to communicate fully. So AAC is very beneficial. There are no prerequisite skills in order to start your child with AAC. It can be started at any age. Child as young as 2 or at any age you can introduce your child to an AAC. It's very important that when we have a non-verbal child, we immediately introduce some way or some kind of a communication system for our child so they are able to communicate their wants and their needs, which will reduce their anxiety and their frustration. Because if they are not able to have any means to communicate, then they are going to resort to challenging behaviors. So it's very important that we set up some kind of a communication system for our child. There are many AAC apps out there, but these apps are expensive. So do make sure before you purchase the app, you consult a speech language pathologist who can do an assessment for your child for AAC and then recommend which apps might be beneficial for them. October is AAC Awareness Month, and many apps, AAC apps, actually go on sale. So that might be the best time for you if you're shopping around for AAC apps to keep a watch and see if you can purchase an app during that time because they are heavily discounted. The next question, is it useful for a 2.5-year-old, and at what level or understanding a child needs to be in order to use AAC? Again, As I previously mentioned, there are no prerequisite skills for your child in order to start using AAC. Even if they are younger and they are showing signs of speech delay, younger as 2 or 2.5, and they are unable to communicate their wants and their needs, and they might experience anxiety and frustration, it is very, very important that we introduce them to an AAC. In the beginning, you as a parent will be modeling the child the AAC. You will be modeling how to use the AAC for them because it is their language and we have to talk to our child in their language, which in this case is AAC. So that's how you will start introducing the child to the AAC. You will start modeling it for them without any expectations of them modeling it back or using it at that time. This is called aided language input. And slowly over time, your child will be able to start using the AAC. The next question, do you think AAC can hinder in developing verbal language in children? So actually, that's the biggest myth. There are research studies showing that AAC actually helps in developing spoken language in many children. Does it happen in all the kids? No, it doesn't. My own son is a AAC user. He communicates with an AAC device, but he doesn't communicate with verbal speech. It did not help him in developing verbal speech, but that's not going to happen for every child. But there are research studies showing that AAC will help in development of verbal speech in many, many children. So absolutely go ahead and introduce your child to AAC. It's not going to hinder your child from developing verbal speech. It might not happen for your child, it doesn't happen for every child, but at least they will be able to communicate because communication is more important than speech. And at least with an AAC device, your child will have a means to communicate their wants, their needs, their feelings, and which will help to reduce their anxiety and their frustration from being unable to communicate. Next question. Do we need ABA along with speech therapy? So ABA is an evidence-based gold standard intervention for children with autism. Children on the spectrum, they definitely can learn a lot from ABA. It teaches them life skills, social skills, communication skills, vocational skills, imitation skills. These are all the skills our children with autism, they struggle with. So ABA, it is individualized to every child, and ABA along with speech therapy and occupational therapy is recommended for children with autism in order to make the most progress. So I hope you are finding this live insightful and helpful, as these are some of the questions I received on my Instagram from fellow autism parents. And I really hope that you find this useful. If you have any questions, kindly drop them in the comments so I can answer it for you in a future live. So let me see if there's any other questions I have here. I made some notes. I'm just going to check if there's any other questions. There's one more question I received. Does ABA not allow a child with autism to stim? So that's a myth. Stimming is something we all engage in. It is not autism specific, like playing with our hair, shaking our feet. That is something we all do. So it's not autism specific. But children with autism, they stim in order for self-regulation, in order for them to feel better, in order for them to feel regulated. So children with autism, they require stimming in order to calm down. ABA does not stop the child from stimming unless the stimming behavior is harmful to the child or the people around them. Then absolutely immediately we have to intervene in order to suggest a replacement behavior for the child. So ABA, on the whole, it will not stop your child from stimming, but unless it is harmful to them or anyone around them, then yes, we have to absolutely intervene. The ABA therapist have to intervene in order to stop that behavior. Also, any other questions? Let me check. So no, I think those are the questions which I received. So again, thank you so much for joining this live today. And as I said again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I share informative videos like this on my channel, Autism Family Story. So I hope you can take a look at my channel. I share lots of videos with informative tips and strategies which I have learned in raising my own son on the spectrum. So I hope you can take a look at my channel and subscribe to my channel, because I publish weekly videos which are very informative and which will definitely help you support your child with autism without overwhelm. So thank you so much again for joining this live. And if you are going to watch the replay, thank you so much for watching this. And lastly, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll answer it in a future live. Thank you so much.